Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, and I'm joined back again by Red. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Feels good to be back. You know, had to take a brief hiatus to move across the country, but now we're here back with Boost Over Ball and ready to talk the talk.
Hell yeah. Well, you picked I guess as good a time as any to come back. All we really got is some Shift Summer League in terms of professional play to talk about, but we'll also be talking about the sustainability of orgs in Rocket League, talking about some of the Tesla Cybertruck stuff that's come out, and giving a little bit of a teaser for some news we got coming out tomorrow afternoon. So, or Thursday afternoon, I guess. We're recording this on Wednesday. So, you ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Shift Summer League, we've been talking about it the past couple of weeks. We'll start off by talking about EU as the time of recording. NA is still currently going on. We have the conclusion of league play for EU, and the teams, we've talked about it before, but the top four teams qualify for the playoffs directly into the upper semifinals, and the 5th and 6th place team qualify into playoffs through the lower quarterfinals. So those 5th and 6th place teams only have one life, whereas opposed to the top four having two. So the standings of this, 100% lock up the number one seed going 15-3, Jobless in second place going 13-5, and that's not the Jobless you're used to seeing. It's Oli, Ixo, and Nas. In third place we have Oxygen Esports, and in fourth place we have Luna Galaxy. And all these teams are jumbled up a little bit just because of the off season. That's the way things go. In fifth place we have Espertaco, and in sixth place, clinching their spot in dramatic fashion, is GridServe Resolve. Based on game differential, I think it ended up not mattering at the end of the day just because of the way that the fake German Amigos game went. But GridServe Resolve clinches their spot in Game 4 in a 6-minute overtime to secure their spot into playoffs.
Yeah, EU has kind of turned out the way people, I feel like, thought. Your big name teams making it. Now, disappointing performance from Endpoint. They're still a pretty big name org, I feel like, and they've just continued to have pretty disappointing results on the Rocket League scene for a while now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start changing stuff up here this offseason. But, Luna Galaxy, Oxygen, 100% Jobless, we all kind of figured they were going to be on the top four among these teams. Props to GridServe for hanging in there. They've always been a kind of a very peaky team. They'll have their highs and their floors are a little low too. So, it'll be interesting to see them in playoffs soon. So, but pretty standard, I feel like, for EU so far.
It certainly is, and it's interesting to see some of these teams. 100% not exactly a team that I thought would be in that number one spot, but this could potentially be the new 100% roster, right? So you have Toxic leaving Top Cougars to head to Endpoint. And so this 100% team is Lewis P, Crispy, Acro, and Relating Wave. Acro and Relating Wave, two players, or the coach and a player from Top Cougars. This could be the new 100% roster. Resolve has talked about wanting to continue to roster the team that they have of Raziers, Ivan, and Cash. They said funding, withstanding, if they can keep the funding, if they can keep the money, then they would like to keep the roster signed. But other than that, you expect Oxygen to be there. I expected Luna Galaxy to be there. Really, the biggest surprise, like you said, has got to be Endpoint. So, but also it looks like the Oli to APAC experiment is over. It looks like I think he's back to EU. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But you ready to jump back across the pond?
Yes, let's go back across the pond.
Okay, so we can't fully talk about this as finitely as we can talk about EU, because as we're talking, the last round of matches is currently underway, and currently Reddles Magic Cheese at 13-3 and G2 Stride at 12-4 have both clinched their spots in the upper semifinals, and G2 Gen G and Space Station have both at a minimum clinched their spot into the lower quarterfinals. They're for sure through. They're both sitting in third and fourth place right now, one game ahead of Shopify, who's chasing them. So if they win their matches, they qualify into the uppers. Currently sitting in fifth is Shopify at 9-7. In sixth is OG at 7-9. In seventh on game differential is Dignitas at 7-9, and in eighth place, not eliminated yet, is Pirates on a Boat at 6-10. And we have Incorrect at 4-12 and Fun at 2-14 that are both been eliminated from making playoffs. So, any surprises that you see here?
I think the biggest surprise definitely is RMC coming out and being as dominant as they have been. We knew the former LG roster is a good squad. They're a fantastic squad, but the fact that they are this good right now is pretty good to see. Good to see that they're keeping informed, trying to put their bid out there for the next franchise to pick them up. I know I saw Reddle's tweet that kind of retweeted their first place ranking so far, saying that they're FAs still.
Still
so,
FA though. Yep.
Yeah, still FA though. So great to see there. Otherwise, so far the top six is pretty expected. One notable result that that still bugs me is the fact that if I remember correctly, Fun, the team that is 2-14, right?
Yeah.
2-14 Fun somehow beat G2 3-1.
They did do that. Yep, that did happen.
They also beat Space Station 3-2.
Yep.
So although they only had 2 wins, the fact that they beat G2 and SSG was a little terrifying. At least as a G2 fan, I was like, what is going on? That was a rough day. But otherwise, everything else seems pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. I'm curious to see how this final race for a spot in the playoffs is going to be. It looks like but site did just get updated. Dignitas dropped their series and go to 7-10. So OG, if they can win their next series, gets that game up. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out the rest of the night.
And also, Space Station now has clinched their spot in the upper semifinals as well. So with only a few matches left, this should be sorted out, before this episode goes live. So we'll tweet about it too. If we finish up this episode, we'll probably give you a recap right before we close out for today. But it's interesting to see, right? G2, Space Station, Gen G, and OG notably are the 4 teams that will be representing North America at the World Championships. And as of maybe too little too late. I mean, they did have, the entire season to work on it, but they don't appear to be the 4 best teams in North America right now.
They do not, no. Which, I mean, I guess that, you can make a claim that that's the depth to North America at this point, that it's gotten better, or you can make a claim that it's still in a consistency, which I guess we won't find out until Worlds, will we? So
yeah, and I mean, also too, part of it is like you have to look at this for what it is. It's not RLCS. It's it's Shift's Summer League tournament. It's an off-season tournament for most of these people. For most of these teams, like Reddles Magic Cheese, they don't have anything else to play for this season. Like this is what they got. This is their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Until like Esports World Cup or something like that comes out, and these players can maybe get into one of those rosters. But it's a little bit different. Like, G2 lost to Fun. G2's dropped 4 matches. They haven't looked as unstoppable as everyone thinks that they are, and I don't think the sky is falling. It's an off-season tournament. I feel like they're not, maybe going, maybe not boot camping, maybe not, going in depth in scrims. Maybe this is just kind of a, hey, we'll use this to kind of stay involved somehow, because we have 107 days between the last regional and the World Championships.
Too many days. Too many days. I need my fix. I need it. But anyway, I believe that covers it for Summer Shift League. I guess one thing to note, G2 did just beat RMC 3-1 in their series. So G2 looks to take that one seed away from RMC here. Be interesting to see how that plays out.
Even with that win, G2 Stride would need a little bit of help to
Yeah.
to pass RMC. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But in this last round of matches, we have Gen G and OG. G2 RMC just finished up. So they actually should be tied.
Yep. They're tied at the moment. They have one more round. So if
Yeah,
RMC
but I think
loses to
RMC has
Shopify.
they're exactly tied. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly tied, but RMC has the. I wonder if they have. Do they have the head-to-head now? I don't remember.
They do have the head-to-head now.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be
we have
interesting to see.
Gen G, OG, Space Station Pirates on a Boat, Dignitas versus G2, RMC and Shopify, and Gen G Incorrect, OG and Fun will be the last match of the league play. So if you're a Red Wolves Magic Cheese fan, if you're a Luminosity fan, you hope for a quick sweep, and you hope G2 drops at least one match. That's the only way that they're going to take back that number one seed. But they've all clinched their upper bracket opponent, so it's really just they're not going to play G2 in round one is basically what this means.
Yeah, which I think is good for both teams there.
Yeah. So the number two seed plays Space Station, and I think we've talked about it before. I think Space Station is one of the quickest rising teams in North America. I think that their form has been really good recently. But again, it's been 2 months since the last time we saw them in RLCS. So really, second place just plays Space Station.
I just realized there's a chance that if there's a chance SSG has to play G2.
Yes, there is.
Again.
Yes, there is.
Oh no.
to lose to them for the fifth time this season of the 8 that they would lose.
Yeah. Although SSG did beat G2 in Summer Shift League, there was a controversial game 1 DQ, which we won't go into, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's enough about Shift League. It's enough about Shift League. I believe our next topic here, sustainability of orgs.
Yeah. So
we've
I'll go ahead. You take it away.
We've noticed, as many of you have probably noticed on Twitter and whatnot, there's been a few major orgs announcing the dropping of their rosters for the off season, and at least the better term would be reloading, if you will. Cloud9, Luminosity, Moist. And the big question is this the new norm? I feel like it has kind of become the new norm with how how the system is set up at the moment. It's just, I feel like the easiest way for an org to stay in the green while also being able to field a team every season.
Yeah, I mean, also Resolve, we talked about a little bit earlier, might drop their roster. It's going to depend on funding and money, but they would like to keep them. I think quite frankly, the way that the current RLCS format is, that's the reason for it, right? Like we talked about earlier, the season is really compact. Between the first and last regional in North America, it was 121 days from start to finish. And between the last regional and the World Championships, it's 107 days. And then, most notably, the World Championships are in September, right? September 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Then if last season is anything to go off of, you're not going to see RLCS teams back in action until mid-January, which that's another, 3-4 months of off season.
Yeah.
So realistically speaking, I don't blame any of these orgs for, dropping their roster so that they don't have to pay players for 6 months. Because the only tournaments that they're going to play in are, Shift Summer League. They're going to, maybe there's an Oxygen tournament or, another org runs a tournament where they invite, teams. But really the only thing that would be a reason to keep them would be Gamers 8. But if you don't qualify for Gamers 8 and you're not in the World Championships, then there's no reason to have your roster. There's no benefit to the orgs for having their roster.
Yeah, unless you're one of these big name teams like, G2, Gen G, where you're going to be contending for number 1, number 2 NA almost every season, there's no benefit to it there. This is probably we're going to see this a lot. It's unfortunate, I think, for the fans because I think, as most fans would like, they like to see a little more stability within rosters so they can, cheer for players that they know have seen these like rosters play out, they've kind of been invested in them. But we're gonna see a lot more reloading in the sense of, one season's like, all right, let's go these three, and it's like, all right, let's go with the guys that I was cheering against last season that are now my teammates. And it's gonna be a lot of that back and forth where there isn't gonna be that stability anymore, which can be good, can be bad. It's still yet to be seen. It's definitely better for the orgs, and I'm hoping that Rocket League will eventually be able to get to a point where that stability is there, where we can have teams year round, where we can pay orgs can pay their players year round, and not have to go through these passing of the torch, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is a smaller example, but like in my setup, I have 3 jerseys hanging up. I have Renegades from OCE, I have Luminosity, and I have Team Liquid. And all 3 of them are no longer in the scene. And, I don't really wear those jerseys as much because, some of them are signed by, players and, they look cool in the setup. But none of those teams exist in Rocket League right now. So, I'm a fan of, we were a fan of Luminosity. We were a fan of Renegades. I was a big Liquid fanboy. I mean, if people listen to the podcast know that one, but, they're not a team anymore. So I have the merch. I have no reason to wear it to Rocket League events other than, it's a cool throwback. Like, if you know, like, same with like the OG Cloud9 decal before they announced they were coming back. But like, I think that really the biggest like obstacle to org sticking around for the whole year for the stability is going to be, number one, the format of RLCS. Giving them a reason to stick around for the whole year. So whether that's doing bigger breaks in between each regional and allowing, people to do third-party tournaments there, as opposed to like just doing them all between, the World Championships, or like when the season is like in the off season, like the full off season. Like, in my opinion, there's no reason that you had to do like 6 weeks straight every weekend of Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 2, a better, like, I don't know if revenue sharing or profit sharing is like the right way to like explain it, but like give these orgs a way to recoup more money by people supporting them. So like give them a bigger profit of the item shop, make the prize pools bigger, because some like orgs do take a percentage of the prize pool. And if the prize pools are bigger, then they can stay in the scene because, their 5% cut or whatever is bigger, right? Like 5% of 100,000 is like way bigger than 5% of 50,000. It's double.
Yeah.
So like
my hope in, you can see also Copium, is that, for the first season, Blast is running this, right? It's still that kind of feeler season for them, trying to, figure everything out, figure how they need to run stuff, how the show works. So I'm hoping that once they get that season under their belt, they'll be a little more comfortable with how things are run. They'll have more logistical standards put in place, and that can lead to increased prize pools, better management, and venue like organization. So I'm hoping that's the case. The Copium in me in there is there, but it's another we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and again, we don't know people who work for Blast. We don't know what the plan is. We don't know how they're running things, but like, I'll say again, we've talked about it before. We've banged the drum for transparency from Blast, but like, it really seems like that, they didn't have a ton of time to put together this RLCS season, so they kind of just went with what they had before. They shortened it a little bit, and they went back in regionals to places that they already had infrastructure in Copenhagen, where they had the CS major going on at the same time. So they had like already the staff and the people and all the production material there. They went back to London for the 3rd time. They're going back to Dallas Fort Worth, which they know worked, and is an easy logistical thing to do because you've already done it before. So like, I think really the biggest like way that we'll be able to judge how successful the Blast partnership will be is once they announce next season. They have a full off season to cook on ideas and things on how to expand and do better than they did. They have a full 6 months to change the format, to like explain to teams and players like, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to change things. If they do, like, hey, we're going to spread it out a little bit, and then after each regional there's going to be 3 weeks between the regional and the major, and then there's going to be another 2-week break after the major, just to like spread things out a little bit, give some players some time to unwind and try to recoup some consistency in terms of play. but we won't know until we hear stuff from Blast, or until this season is officially in the books after the World Championships is over. But again, we still have over a month before that happens, month and a half.
If there's one thing Blast needs to change, please bring back Wildcard. Please, we need it.
You can't tell me Oxygen doesn't deserve to be in.
Oh, I mean, Oxygen, LG, Shopify, like there are so many teams that at least deserve a chance on a wild card.
Complexity?
It would be so goddamn entertaining. It'd be so good.
It would
be. Bring it back, please, Blast. We beg you.
But anything else that you want to talk about the sustainability of orgs, kind of, I guess, the tangent that we went on how things could get better? I'm sure, during the off season, we'll talk about this more in depth. We'll probably bring some people who know more than we do on to talk more about that. But anything else you want to add?
I got nothing here. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff floated around, especially on the EU side of things when it comes to like teams that weren't participating in Shift Summer League, and social media exposure, bringing in viewership. That I've heard that conversation a lot. So it's going to be interesting how Blast deals with it over the next couple of seasons, I hope. And I as a outside view looking in, we just gotta sit here and just hope everything goes well.
We do, but with that, the last thing that we need to mention, we need to talk about it at least. It's pretty divisive. The Cybertruck making its way into Rocket League. How do you feel about it? It's going to be it's going to be hybrid hitbox, same as the Skyline.
So I had the G2 match on here we're recording this, and I saw Daniel using it in game 4 of the RMC match, and let me tell you, it is very accurate. It looks as boxy as it does in real life. I mean, they have it down to a T on how cartoon like it looks. It's gonna be weird. I'm not gonna use it. I'm good. I'll pass. I already made my change over to Fennec a few months ago. I'm gonna stay here for a while. But I mean, it's a good cash grab, I guess.
Well, I mean, they're offering it for free if you complete the challenges.
This true.
Which oh my god.
I gotta go back to the question I've seen before and stuff. It's like, thanks. I guess I don't know anyone that was asking for this, but thanks.
I mean, further brand exposure is always going to be good. The challenge system seemed a little bit weird to me. It was play 8 matches, get the wheels, wait a week, play 8 matches with the wheels, get the boost, wait a week, and then now it's play 6 matches or 5 matches with the boost in a party, get the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I see what they're trying to do there with the tiered challenges there. I feel like the execution could have been a little. Also, I swear, if they keep bringing these challenges where it's like go play 5 games of a specific extra mode, I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's just matches total. Doesn't matter what mode.
I know. This is just in general. I see these challenges, and they're the challenges every season. I never complete because I'm just there to play Rocket League, man. Why?
Yeah. But could be good, could be bad. It's good to see more exposure, but I don't know if I'll ever use the Cybertruck. I'm sure I'll unlock it just because I can, and then I'll try it once or twice. But this is not for me.
I'll unlock it because it's there. Add it to the collection and collect dust.
Exactly.
But I might use it in a private match when I hit random by accident.
Yeah. But also update on the Shift Summer League.
You did just finish.
They have one more round, but Dignitas, Pirates on a Boat, Incorrect, and Fun have all officially been eliminated. OG has officially locked in the 6th seed. They cannot improve to 5th. Just because of their goal differential and game differential. And Actually, you know what? They can. I lied.
No, yeah, they can go up to 5th, and that's it.
So
Shopify can pass.
Gen
so,
G,
yeah.
but Space Station, Redo's Magic Cheese, and G2 Stride have locked in their upper bracket or upper semifinal advancement. The only thing now is Space Station has locked in 3rd or 4th, and G2 Stride and Redo's Magic Cheese have locked in 1st and 2nd. It's just going to matter on seeding. Same with Space Station, and Space Station could at worst be 4th, at best 3rd. Shopify could do at best 4th, at worst. I guess technically 6th. OG could be 5th. Gen G could stay 4th or go 5th. So
there we have it.
Those matches are set to take place here in the next 20, 30 minutes. So by the end of the night, we will know which teams will be going to playoffs. But, we will tweet about that. You'll have to, watch alongside us. But was there anything else you wanted to add about the Cybertruck before I tease something?
I think we're good. Go ahead and give the people what they want.
Okay. So I'm not going to take away from the tweet because the tweet will be coming tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to be watching out on our Twitter for that. A former guest of the show is involved. The Boost Over Ball podcast network will be expanding. That's all I'll say for now. You'll have to check out the tweets. You'll have to stay tuned as more information will follow. We can't wait to bring you guys this exciting information, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things progress.
So excited! You guys are gonna love it. We promise. It's big news. It's good news. You can't wait for the days to come after that. So you don't want to spoil anything, but it's gonna be big.
Oh yeah. It also does have to do with a contract signing gift that we tweeted. I've always wanted to tweet that, so had to do it. But is there anything else that you wanted to add about Cybertruck, about Rocket League, about Shift Summer League, about anything?
I got nothing, but is it Worlds yet?
Oh my god. Almost basically 2 months worth of waiting. It's just, 7 weeks or something like that. Oh well. But
is it Worlds yet?
I want Worlds to happen because RLCS, but then I don't want Worlds to happen because then 4 months.
The off season. The 4 months.
Yeah. So good things come to those who wait, I guess. But with that, we'd like to thank you guys all so much for listening. We'd like to remind you to please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, as it really helps us out. Check out our Twitch, our TikTok, and our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our website, boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.